Hello, everybody. We are now in lecture 27. You've reached the end of all of the content, so congratulations if you've made it this far. This particular subject, social media marketing, is near and dear to me. In fact, I teach the social media digital marketing course there at NSU, and I have for several years, and I love it. If you are thinking about more marketing courses, I highly recommend it. Students say they really, really love it. So, we're going to jump into this, and it's not going to be too long. It really is just a sampler. And you know what? You guys are already social media experts in a sense, but social media marketing, that is creating content rather than consuming content, is quite a bit different. Of course, we know what social media is. We don't have to necessarily give it a definition, but it's websites and applications where users share content and information with one another. Makes sense. Interestingly enough, 72% of US adults are on some type of social media. I have some results here from 2021, not too super old, that shows the increase in social media usage. Obviously, the pandemic has preempted some of this. When they weren't able to come together, people decided that they were going to use social media to stay in contact because we are social creatures, right? We want to be with one another. We want to talk to one another. And so we see here that definitely Facebook and WhatsApp and TikTok have been real drivers of of content and social media usage over the last year or so. So who's consuming the most social media, right? No surprise that it really is the 18 to 29-year-olds. They are what we would consider digital natives. They've always had some type of social media really at their fingertips, and it's the way that they communicate. There's some really interesting data out there for those of you who are interested about, how even the eyes are shaped a little bit differently. They're not as round. They don't have as good of peripheral vision as previous generations. They have flatter eyes because of all the device usage and things like that. So there are also physiological effects as well. So this gives you kind of an interesting breakdown of what it looks like by generation. Well, what about Twitter? We know what Twitter is. It's these short 280 character posts. They're easily shared, but they're not meant to be very long. We see that Twitter tends to over-index male. It tends to things don't last very long. They can bump up really quickly and then fall off just as quickly. So Twitter is an interesting platform. Of course, Instagram. Many people using Instagram. It's a big one. It's owned by Facebook. It's a visual platform. We are visual creatures. Americans especially are visual learners. We're visual. And Instagram has capitalized on these novice and kind of intermediate skilled photographers, if you will, by helping them provide filters and things like that. Pinterest does over-index for female. It is a forward-looking platform of things that we want to do. So you see a lot of things such as fashion, home decor, things like that, food. All of that is really something that you will find quite a bit on Pinterest if you don't have a Pinterest account. Facebook, this is the larger use of traditional social media platforms. It is what is traditionally used by most businesses if they're looking to get into a social media platform. And it is got a large ad targeting platform as well. It is really one of the more sophisticated when it comes to kind of leveraging the businesses out there and the platforms that they use. And it does tend to do very well with, this sort of 35 plus category as well in terms of users. Snapchat, this is a photo messaging app. You guys know what Snapchat is, I assume. The messages are only viewed for a limited time before they disappear. They can add filters and lenses and all sorts of things to Snapchat. LinkedIn, of course, something that I highly recommend for all of our students to have. If you haven't set up a LinkedIn, you should definitely do so. It's a great networking for recruitment and employment and business connections. If you don't want to have all of those business connections on your other platforms, LinkedIn is a great place where you don't have to worry quite as much about some of those business associates seeing that information. YouTube, of course, as you already know, you are seeing this because I had to place this on YouTube. In fact, at one point, I was saving all of my videos on NSU's platforms, but now I'm having to do it on YouTube because they don't have the space for all of the online classes and all of the videos. TikTok. TikTok is a short form video sharing platform. We got 2.6 billion new app installs. I love TikTok. It's fun. It keeps you really on trend of things. And if you're interested in current events, no place like TikTok to find out what those current events are. So when we talk about social media marketing, what are we talking about? We're talking about the ability to leverage that platform for a product or company or person, even an organization or an idea, and use that in some ways to help us monetize or convert. That's what we're calling, we convert sales. So that's what we're trying to do when we monetize or we market on social media. What are the benefits? Well, you can really easily reach out to your loyal community. I read an interesting thing the other day that said, what is content marketing? And it said, content marketing is like going on a first date and only talking about yourself. That means that you won't have a second date. So the internet is very much like that. The biggest driver of word of mouth is social media. 70% of all products have some type of word of mouth derivative. So social media is huge in that sense. It helps us improve the brand image. It allows us to communicate directly with customers and show our expertise. It improves our customer service because we're doing things more in real time, and it allows us to get feedback more quickly and as well as idea. So these are all sorts of ways that we are able to reach out. The nice thing is we can also reach out and advertise, so we're able to get them versus hoping that they happen upon our website and take a look around. Some other benefits: it expands our sales. It cuts our marketing costs because it's actually return on investment wise. It's dollar for dollar. You get more impact from something like social media, and it helps you maintain that top of mind awareness. What platform to use? What businesses ask me this all the time. What should we use? Well, it really depends on your product. I mean, if what's your demographic? What's your product? All of those will come down, and we work through this as well in that digital media, that social media marketing class I teach. So if you're interested in this, we will work through that even on a one-on-one type of basis, much in the way that we did that in this class with your project. So choosing a platform, of course, you want to take a look at your competitors. You guys did a SWOT analysis early in the year or early in the semester with your subscription boxes and such. So choosing that platform is very important based on all of these criteria and how we segment and what we're doing. What are some tips? Well, we've got to remember to represent our brand. And we talked through this again in the social media class, but what is the guardrail? What does our brand bubble look like? And how do we get there? So that's something that we talk about. How do we create that and how do we stay in it? Say I have a customer who loves romance novels, but I don't play in that space. How do I connect with them? That's some of the stuff that we talk about as well in that course. Social media trends. I mean, there's all sorts of things: augmented reality, live streaming. We see a bunch of this, and it happens every single day. How does the brand use that the most effectively? You're live streaming at 2 a.m. You're probably not very effectively reaching out to your customer unless you are a late night brand. Maybe you are something that has a late night sort of entertainment, and that's a great time to live stream. So it really depends on who your brand is, what your brand is, and who your customers are. Influencer marketing. We know that influencer marketing is strong, and it used to just be limited at one point in time to celebrities were the influencers. Now everybody can be an influencer, and it's very interesting to see how this is proliferated. Some of the other things is that we have mobile use, ephemeral marketing, and things of that nature as well. Social media monitoring. Well, this is how we listen. This is how we know what's happening. Conversations that are relevant to our brand. We also call this social listening. If you're really into the research end of things, you will call it a sentiment analysis. We would do that as well. What's the sentiment regarding our brand? How do we quantify that? That happens as well in social media. It's very broad. It's not just a matter of being creative. Social media can be very technical and it can be very creative. So it's real spectrum if you're interested in this area. Monitoring functions. How do we address public relations issues if there's a crisis or there's something that we want to get in front of people? Relevant competitor. We want to make sure that we're watching our competitors as much as they're watching us so we can stay ahead of it. We don't want to always be a fast follower. We want to stay in front of things. And then, of course, connecting with our customers. It's a great forum for customer complaints. I mean, we'd love it if they all came in and told us we were doing great things, but most of the time when they're coming to us on social media, it's to tell us what we're doing wrong. And if we do a good job of listening to that, we can mitigate the risk there, and we can go ahead and try to make corrective action. It allows us to find trends. right? What's trends in language? What's trends in the types of posts? Some of them are very short trends, some of them are long trends. We need, as marketers, to make sure that we are taking advantage of all opportunities to understand trends and that changing consumer behavior. If you're interested in consumer behavior, that's a different class that we teach. But that kind of that consumer insights, that consumer why we change, when we change, and how that works. There's lots of advertising opportunities on social media, as you already know. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, they all have advertising platforms. It's not limited. And they have different options in terms of what they do. And of course, Facebook. That's the OG of advertising, of course, and really one that most companies will try to at least leverage in some way if they're using any sort of digital advertising. So this is a quick one on social media. If you like it, if you're interested, I highly recommend that 8-week course. It's online. And like I said, the students love it. You get 2 certifications, you do an audit, and then you do a social media strategy for a small business, which is something that you can include in your portfolio on LinkedIn as well. So I will see you later. Thanks again for being a part of the class this semester. And I look forward to seeing you in a future class.